Hi, dear language learners. Your mind and body actually tell you when it's not your talent or your motivation that are the reason why you are not progressing in becoming fluent in your language. Actually, there are three very common symptoms that you can tell that it is the study method, the way in which you learn the language, that you need to change in order to finally become fluent. I'm going to break down in this video the three most common symptoms and give you tips, really useful tips, how you can overcome being stuck in language learning. I'm Dr. Alex. I'm a social psychologist, and I bring you the best of social psychology to finally become fluent in your target language and to speak with unshakable confidence. So let's start right away. And for those of you who are new here, welcome. Don't forget to download your copy of Everyday Nano, which is a study technique that actually helps you to leverage the best of the knowledge of how the brain works and how the body works and how social interactions work in order to actually become fluent in your next language. So, number one symptom that actually tells you that it's not your talent or lack of motivation in actually being stuck in becoming fluent is procrastination. Procrastination is a sign of the mind that actually what you're doing is not fun, because it's linking the experience to past experiences you had where you got bored, where you felt this is not fun, this is really hard, and where your mind then says, oh, let's rather do something else that is more fun. Because learning and fast memory always kicks in when we associate past fun and joyful memories that actually our brain says, okay, this is a good experience of life. Let's continue that kind of path of learning. So what you need to do if you have procrastination, you need to revise how you actually studied, how you went about studying. You need to, of course, check out the Everyday Nano method. You need to break down what you in which moment exactly you felt totally put off. Was it the way in which you went into passive study? Was it the way in which you started to memorize vocabulary lists that were not linked to your life? Was it the way in which you never actually got to practice those sentences in that language course? Analyze that, write it down, and think yourself of a better way in which you can actually memorize those things. I actually, in my past videos, I have developed this technique that is called Everyday Nano that breaks down the study process into very, very short, hyper-fragmentized, tiny bits of time that are fun and that are integrated into your everyday life and that are linked to your life experience. And that leads us to number two, which is overwhelm. So hyperfragmentation is actually the answer to overwhelm. What is overwhelm? Overwhelm is basically when you feel, oh my God, this is such a huge mountain to climb. I can't do it all. I need to study years for that. And all that tells your brain to not do it. So overwhelm can be overcome by, as I said, hyperfragmentation, meaning you only study 5 minutes per day. And for those of you who are new here, please check out my videos where I explain the Everyday Nano method, which gives you really useful tips of how to choose every day your 5 minutes. And number three is the fear of speaking. The fear of speaking is actually rooted in that element that we created that socially. It's kind of, we invented the word error in the scholarly way of teaching languages to actually signify that something doesn't correspond to the actual rules of the grammar. Okay, that's fine if you need to have a system of school where you have to kind of evaluate lots of pupils. Fine. But for adult learning and for learning in terms of with a goal to become fluent, an error doesn't help you in your mindset, because if you think of errors as failure and something negative, you will try to avoid them. And then what happens is you would rather not say anything. So what you can do as a main remedy is work on your mindset. And the mindset I explain largely in my videos is to basically, first of all, say it's not an error, it's just an opportunity to learn, because we are here to experience life, and anything that happens to us, it is up to us how we think about that. But it's definitely not errors. But we are not in a mathematic formula here in life. In life, everything is learning. And this is why children learn languages so easily, because if somebody corrects them, that's just another piece of experience of life. They just take it and move on. And we adults, we have been programmed over the years now for thinking about errors as something detrimental, because we have to be seen as totally functional, professional individuals, which is something that, of course, for the economic system, if you think about it, the context in which this notion of not making errors was created, for industrial production, for example, or for anything that depends on physics and mathematics. Of course, there it's important not to have errors. But if you think about human interactions and speaking, communication, it's always about opportunities and learning. So we need to change the mindset. And the biggest message actually of the Everyday Nano method is how you think about errors. So the remedy I want to actually recommend to you is to encourage yourself to make errors. The more you make errors, the more you will learn, and the quicker you will learn, because the speed is related to how many times you will be corrected. And then you link that in your brain to that real social interaction that you had. And your brain says, I remember that. Yes, I was corrected. No, it's said like that. And you will remember that like in lightning speed. So check out my past videos as well. I will do another video as well on the exact steps of the Everyday Nano method. But for today, I want to leave you with a question. Can you please drop me comments on how you experience the bodily and the mental signs of these three symptoms of basically procrastinating, overwhelm, of the fear of speaking? What are the main symptoms for you? And drop me a comment if this makes sense to you in terms of the remedies, because I'm planning to expand on that. And as always, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.